All right. So thank you guys for being on this call for February. I have a few things that I want to run past you, pick your brain with, and kind of see what you guys think. So I know that several of us are in Lead or Lead Plus, and I know that the ones that are not are still trying to reach to recruits and still kind of hold that expectation that, you know, those of us that are going through Lead right now are having to do for the next however many months. Okay. So with that being said, I know that some of the new consultant training and onboarding stuff, some of us may not feel real comfortable, feel like we have a plan. But before we start having all of these people join our teams, I really would like to have a plan in place so that it's just kind of, okay, here's what we do, here's how it goes, and we kind of know a direct order of things. Okay, so when you think about training a new consultant, okay, there are a few things that should stick out in your mind on what you want to teach them first. Okay, so the very base bottom line that we are going to always be working with our consultants on is booking parties. Okay, because without parties, they don't have host coaching, they don't have future business. And so booking parties is kind of the heartbeat of our business. Okay, because without that, we don't really have anything. So booking parties is super important when you think about training a new consultant. And then after they have their calendar booked, host coaching is going to be the next thing that is super important. We know, especially, you know, if you guys watched my virtual training a couple weeks ago or whenever, you heard me talk about how important it is to do the host coaching, because that's how our hosts know the expectations. They know how important it is for them to be involved in the party. We can set goals for them. We communicate with them. And so if our new consultants are not trained in that, they aren't knowing, you know, how important that communication is with their hosts. Okay. So we got bookings, we've got host coaching, and then the next thing is recruiting. Okay, so with recruiting, you know, we know that we're talking with our hosts. You know, we know kind of what to watch for in our parties as key signs of someone, you know, that is a great participant, or someone that loves Pampered Chef, and they just go on and on about Pampered Chef products. You know, our little radars go off and go, oh, ding, 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 we need to reach out to them. But new consultants don't necessarily know all that information. Okay, and then the last thing that they don't really know is following up. Following up with people in their parties, that relationship that you have with your customers after the party is over, okay? So those four things are kind of the key to starting new consultants out strong. Now, when it comes to the first call, okay, and I'm going to be putting all of this in an Evernote file for you guys. So you know kind of how I did the checklist of the Evernote for the virtual party? I'm going to kind of do that for new consultants training. You know, basically, here's the steps of what can really help you from the beginning when you have a new consultant join your team. Because there is training on Consultants Corner. There is training, you know, all different places. But to kind of put it together and shorten it and kind of know like a short and sweet, you know, I feel like we need to do that. So I broke down, they put a new consultant strong start call on Consultants Corner, but it's like 10 pages long. Okay. And you're like, by the time you read through all of this stuff, it gets kind of confusing. So I basically shortened it to just a page of, you know, like 14 steps. Okay. So when you have a new consultant join your team, it is super important within 24 to 48 hours, you do a phone call with them personally. Okay. And the reason that that's important, yes, maybe your upline does a training of some sort, with new consultants. But the reason why it's important for you to pick up that phone, and once they join, say, hey, I want to do a call with you within that 24 to 48 hour period, because they need to hear from you. They're on your team. And so it's important for you to know why they are joining Pampered Chef. Okay. So on that first call, you're welcoming and you're introducing yourself. And don't worry, I have all this typed out, so I will include this in the Evernote file so you don't have to feel like you have to frantically take notes. But so you're going to welcome and introduce yourself, and you're getting to know them. Okay. I learned at an exec training, one of the execs was like, someone was asking me a question about someone on my personal team, and I couldn't tell them anything about their family, about what they did, about anything about themselves. She said, because I didn't take the time to get to know them. And we're in a relationship business, so it's really important for you to say, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about your family. How many kids do you have? Are you married? What does their life look like? Do they have a full-time job? What is their full-time job? Does their spouse work? Whatever those questions are, it's just important that you get to know a little bit about them, because that's going to be a real insight to how they're going to work their business and what they want from their business. And finding out their why. Okay. If you do nothing else on that first call, find out why they started Pampered Chef. What is it that they want from this business? What kind of income do they want from this business? And most of them, I will be honest, most of the people that start Pampered Chef want $300 to $500. Okay, so think about some of your guys' paychecks, when you first started out, what they look like, and that's very doable. What their goals are now are, you can say, hey, I did that, in my first couple months. And whys may change, but for the most part, a lot of times whys, they're similar. They kind of fluctuate, and some stay the same, some change. Mine has stayed the same to a degree, but I've also had a lot of different things change within my why. It's always been to stay home with my kids, which I'm still doing, but there's a lot of reasons why I stay in Pampered Chef. Okay. So why they do Pampered Chef? How many shows are they, comfortable with? And we're going to get into this because what they're comfortable with, they may be stretched on. Okay. Explaining the new consultant rewards. Okay. So many of our new consultants, they don't understand that for the first 90 days of their business, they are getting 100 PC bucks every time they hit $12.50 in sales. Every time. And so I remember as a new consultant, I got like 700 PC bucks because I just kept racking them up. Okay. And you're looking at this, as basically free money. As a new consultant, they are laying on this table that they have the option to get, and it's how much they want to get is totally up to them because they have an opportunity to get a lot. Okay. So it's important that they understand their 30-day mark and their 90-day mark. I established that from the very first call, and I let them know their 30-day and their 90-day and why that's important. Why it's important to know their 30-day because they want to hit that $12.50 to get that new consultant special, and then their 90-day for fast tracking purposes and how much time they have to get those PC bucks. Okay, so those two things are important for them to know. If they didn't just do a show with you, having them schedule their grand opening show. Okay. And we're going to get into what that looks like a little bit more. Informing them, and now they do get notification of this, I think in an email, but they do get notification about their 4th month and when their 4th month time period is where they can go on for that one-time shopping spree with the 40% off. They do get some notification about that now. Before, I had to tell them about it on the call because they didn't get notification about it, which was hard because a lot of consultants miss that. Okay. A lot of people say on the second call, go over the fast track flyer. I do it on the first call. And I'll get into a little bit more about that in just a little bit. Now, I have them make with me a list. I have 18 names of people that they can talk, reach out to. And I call it the Franks list, the FRANKS, okay? So we do the Franks list and we do it together. I have them come up with 3 of the names under each category, explain a little bit more, and maybe if they have, maybe they don't have neighbors because they live out in the country. So maybe we figure out how to front load their friends versus their neighbors, until we get the 18 people, okay? And then giving them some words to say when they're reaching out, and how it isn't a booking without a date. That is so important when you're a new consultant, because so many people are like, yeah, I've got 3 bookings. Well, when are they going to start? Well, we haven't picked a date yet. So letting them know that in order to be considered a booking, it needs a date with that booking, okay? And then having them figure out, okay, when they're talking with someone and they say, yes, I want to have a booking, you immediately say, okay, if it's virtual, I'm starting parties on the 9th and 16th. Which one would work better for you? Immediately. Or if it's a cooking show, do weekends or weeknights typically work better? And then they tell you, okay, so if they said weeknight, say, okay, I typically do parties on Tuesday and Thursdays. Which one of those dates work best? Tuesdays. Okay, my first Tuesday I have available is this. Will that work for you? And a lot of times I will just tell them, here's the dates that I have available. Let me know if it's a cooking show, which one works best for you. And they'll typically look at their calendar and get back with me on a date, okay? But it's not a booking until it has a date attached to it, okay? And letting your new consultants know that they are going to hear the word NO a lot. And they need to know that, because sometimes that's discouraging for new consultants when they hear no and say, you know what? If you talk with 18 people, 6 of them are going to say yes to you, which means 12 of them are going to say no to you. So understand that a third of them will say yes, but you have to be ready for 2/3 to say no. Okay. And that's just the way the business is. It's not necessarily that they're doing anything wrong. But you need to let them know that. Otherwise, they get discouraged by all the no's that they hear from the start, okay? So that's basically what my first call looks like, okay? It takes about 30 minutes, and it's just a little bit about getting to know them and the importance of booking those parties, okay? So call number 1, I do 24 to 48 hours after they start the business, okay? I immediately message them and say, when in the next, 48 hours would be in a good time for us to chat. Okay. And then they let me know. So then now Crystal Waranga did a call. If you guys were on the Nationwide Leaders Call, she did a new consultant training just a few days ago. The way that she said she does hers is she does the 24 to 48 hours. And then 48 hours later, she does the host coaching one. And then 48 hours later, she does one on, I think it's setting up her parties at that point, in number 3. Okay, how to set up virtual parties. Third call, yeah, why do we post what we do, and the template, and, talking about how to recruit in a party. Okay, so that's her 3rd call. And then her 4th call, she doesn't do until the 30-day mark. And that's just to review the parties and go over how they went, what they need help with still, and customer care follow-up kind of stuff. Okay, so thinking about this as a director team moving forward. Okay, so you have someone join and you're going to do that first call. Okay, and then the second call is going to be about host coaching. Now we have on Wednesday nights the trainings that are already there for these people on each of these exact topics, okay? Now, not that they're going to necessarily eliminate these calls, but they will reinforce and help them see this information. Now, if you have someone that starts like the 3rd week and they've already done training 1 and 2, that's why those units are there. So you can add them to the group and tell them to review unit 1 and 2 on bookings and host coaching, and comment so that you can see that they actually did it. Okay. So what I'm going to start doing I guess it's Tuesday. Tuesday is when I send out my newsletter, and I will see who we added for that prior week. And so I'm going to post the welcome on the Team PC Hotshots and tag them and let them know that the training is on Wednesday night. Okay. So they kind of know, and it's a reminder, for them to look at it. So we've got the first call, and we're going to add them to the new consultant training. Now, what I am doing with my new consultants, let's say I have someone that signs up on a Tuesday, okay? And I am starting parties that next Saturday. So I'm going to tell them that they are going to take the next couple days to book 3 parties. Okay, if they have not done a grand opening with you, they're doing their grand opening and 2 more. If they just got done doing a party with you, then basically you're going to do 1 of their parties, and they're going to do 2 beside you. Okay, and what I do is I will post for their party, and then I don't teach SendShare at this point, because what I have found is new consultants get kind of confused with setting up the parties, all the stuff that goes with the parties, and then you throw in SendShare, so I want them to copy and paste basically from the party that you are running into 2 other parties. Okay, so their very first goal is to get 3 parties. 1 that you're going to help them with, and 2 that they're going to run beside. Okay, so we run those 3 parties. They're copying and pasting, where I'm added into their parties that they're doing. They're at, they're in the party that I'm helping them with. So we're kind of doing these 3 parties together. So I can kind of monitor what it looks like. Then I'm going to take that, after the parties are over, I'm going to take that next week kind of off with them. And then we're going to look and we're going to evaluate, okay, here's how, we're host coaching these people, and I've probably already told them some about host coaching those 3 parties, okay, but going a little bit more in depth with host coaching, and then going a little more in depth with recruiting. And maybe at that time, if they're ready to start SendShare, then I will teach them SendShare in kind of that off week. And then I'm going to tell them, your goal this week is to get 4 more parties to start on that next Saturday. Okay, so they got done with the 3, and then they have a few days of that week to go get 4 more bookings. Okay, now if they already got them from that previous time that they're booking parties, great, they already have a start on it. Okay, but after they get the 3, okay, then their goal is going to be to get 4 more. And the reason that we are encouraging them to get these so fast is, guys, we spend so much time adding new people to our team, and them not qualifying, and them not getting started off quickly. These other exec teams that are doing something similar is their people are starting strong, because even if they have, think about it, even if they have of these 7 parties, let's say 5 of them qualify, maybe 2 of them flop, okay? Most likely they're going to hit their 1250, okay, in just a couple weeks. And then when they do that and they see the success that they can have, they're going to be encouraged to keep going. Okay, when we start them off slow and maybe they only have a couple parties in a month, maybe 1 of those bombs and 1 of them barely qualifies, what motivation are they going to have to keep going when that's what they have to compare their parties to? Okay, but if you have them starting multiple parties in a few weeks, then you're setting them up for more success. Okay, so I feel like if we can have them kind of going on this 3 and then book 4 more parties, then that's really going to help them go. Now, is every single new consultant that we have going to do 3 parties right away and then 4 parties, a couple weeks after? Maybe not. But if they have 2 this week and then they have 2 the next, that's probably more than they would have had if we wouldn't have pushed them to try to get 3 and 4. Okay, so, and that's what I have found, like, just, in my host coaching with cooking and virtual, you tell them more so that even if they have a little bit less, that's more than what they would have had if you never gave them an expectation in the first place. Okay. So, I mean, yes, not all of them may get exactly, but you know what? There are going to be those that do. And there are going to be those that contact you right away and say, okay, I got my 4. Because like Sarah, I know Sarah's new consultant. She hadn't even signed up yet. And she was like, she's got 7 parties booked. There are going to be those people that jump out of the gates running, and you want to run with them, okay? And there are those that don't even know what to expect, that you just have to give them an expectation so that they know what they're shooting for. They know what their goal. And you can tell them, you explain to them, hey, the reason that we do this many parties is because we know some of them may not qualify, and some of them, you know, may not be that great. So that's why we schedule a few more, because I want you to have some that will be successful, you know, so you can really get your business going. And just in case, you know, we may have 1 or 2 that don't, that's why we're overbooking our month. Okay. And they're going to better grasp, okay, that makes more sense, you know, of why we would need to do maybe more parties than not. Okay. So when you look at it, you're doing your first call with them. Okay, and you're going to be talking to them about getting these 3 bookings on the calendar, when that's going to start, and what that's going to look like for them on that first call. Okay, now depending on kind of when it falls and stuff, and when after they get these bookings, because I will say to my new consultants, did you go out and get those 3 bookings? If they tell me no, I say, okay, I'm going to give you 2 more days. When you get those bookings, then we're going to have our next call. Okay, I don't need to do a call on host coaching until they have their 3 on the calendar, because there's no point to teach them how to host coach if they don't have the bookings on their calendar. Okay, and so after they have that, then I can tell them, I can send them that video. You guys have that video on that virtual training. There's a video of me doing a host coaching call. You can send that to them and say, hey, watch this. And once you watch it, let me know, and I'll explain to you why this is important, what she says in there. Okay, so use some of those things in that virtual training that I did on the Evernote. Have that, you know, saved, so that when you have these new people, you can pull out some of those things that are important that they do in their virtual parties. Okay, I have it written out day by day, some of these things that they need to be doing. Okay. So between that and giving them the outline, and you guys having a couple of these calls with them, you're setting them up for a much stronger start. Okay, does that make sense? I'm going to take you guys off mute for just a second and let you ask me any questions about this before we move into our next topic. So let me unmute you all for a second. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Anyone at all?
Behind the building.
Nobody?
I had one while ago, but I can't think of it at this moment for some reason.
You got a brain freeze?
Oh no, hold on. It'll come to me. I almost interrupted you just because I knew it would go away.
Okay. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add? Melissa, do you have anything at the top of your head that you want to add to that? Yes, no, maybe so. Does all that make sense? Like, do we think that's a good plan? Do you think it's a horrible plan? Like, what do you guys think? Any thoughts at all?
I think it's a good plan.
Is that Melissa? Who was that said that?
Leslie.
Oh, Leslie. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's a good plan. I just had a consultant join. She was one of my coworkers in January.
Yes.
And I made her have 5 parties right off the bat. And I was like, I'll help you with them. We're starting them next week. Let's go. And her husband was like, wait, why are we rushing this? I said, because you're earning free for all. And you hit $12.50, you get the quick cooker you want. So, and she submitted $2,400 in her first month. And
Yes.
now she's so motivated. She's ready to go to Disney, and like she's ready to go. And she booked February up with 9 parties, and March has 5 parties.
That
And
is a perfect example.
she started the second week in January and killed it with $2,400 in sales.
In 2 weeks.
So, because she saw that success in 2.5 weeks and is ready to go.
Yes. So that is a perfect example of what I was talking about. So thank you, Marissa, for sharing that, because that's exactly what these other executive teams are seeing, because they're setting that expectation. And yes, was it her husband that said, wait, hold up, why are we
Yes.
going so fast, you know? But she said, because this and this, we have these goals, and she went for it, and now she feels the success. So now she's like, okay, now she's motivated. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, they get started so slow and they don't have that success, and now they're frustrated and they don't want to continue on because they didn't get going in the first place. Okay, do you guys see
Right.
the difference with that, the two scenarios that we're looking at here? So that's why it's so important that, and I like the 5, you know, heck, do whatever number that you think, because I think that they're going to do whatever it is. So basically, you know, whether it's the 2 or the 3 and the 4, or it's the, you know, more from the beginning, or whatever you decide to tell them, I just think it's important that you push them and give them an expectation from the beginning.
Melody,
Yes.
when you're talking the 3 parties up front or whatever, you know, they're going to run those 2 at the same time we're running that. So we're all going to, okay.
Correct. Yeah. And Tony brought up a good point to me last night. And some of your consultants, they're going to say this. Like Tony's new consultant said to her, well, wait, if you run mine, then your name's going to be on all the posts. And she's like, yep, yes, it is. And so her consultant was like, well, can you go ahead and show me, SendShare, how to do that? So my name is the one associated, you know, on the posts. And she did. In a few minutes, she was able to set up her SendShare and get her party loaded in there and get it going, you know, and so it wasn't that big of a deal. Now, some people, you're going to get this like, oh my gosh, I don't know technology. All this is stressing me out. This is too much, you know, so some people are overloaded by stuff like this. So you kind of got to get a feel for them where they're at. So if they're more comfortable, yes, run mine, I'll just copy and paste. Then go with that. If they're like, oh, wait, hold up, I'm ready for SendShare. Show me how to do it. I want to post this myself. Then you go that route, you know? So you kind of can, depending on the consultant, you can kind of get a feel for where they are with technology, you know, Facebook groups, you know, all that kind of stuff, with how fast you push them in that technology department. Okay. So, that's kind of how, but I have just talked with too many execs that are setting them up, you know, from the beginning with lots of shows, and they are soaring and they're fast tracking and they're promoting because they're having such success. They want to keep going. Okay. So I would much rather have that result than a bunch of new consultants that are not starting off strong and then they're falling off because they're not feeling success. Okay. So that's what, and when we have this many people that we're trying to add to our team, think about, you know, if you have 2 people every month that are trying for that 1250, what's that going to do to your personal team? You are not going to struggle a single month with your hitting those expectations, because, you know, you are hitting 5,000 because they're hitting 2,500 for you. I mean, as long as you're hitting 2,500, you're qualified with just those couple people, you know, and then you don't have to struggle month to month with hitting your 5,000. Okay.
My new girl, Candace,
Yes.
she's 2 weeks in. Her 30 days is like the 24th or 25th of this month. She's like $250 from her 1250 right now. She just closed out a party. She's got 2 parties right now on February, and she's already freaked out like, oh my God, I only got 2. She was so panicked today because, I mean, she's trying to fast track.
Yeah.
And she's only 2 weeks in, and she's like, all
about it.
It's wonderful.
Yes. And you would much rather have that.
Melody?
Yes, Leslie.
Yeah, but when, you know, what are we going to say? Because when we're recruiting them, we tell them that you can do it how you want to, you know, and some of them don't want to work.
Well, this is what you tell them, Leslie. You say for 90 days, I'm going to encourage you to push your business because you're getting all of these rewards and all this free money for stuff. And after that 90 days, if you want to pull back and you think, this is a little more than I want to do, and you want to settle back into 3-4 parties or however many you feel comfortable with, go for it. But why don't we try? I say it's like taking an airplane. When we're taking off, we're going right now, and we're going to level off at some point. And if maybe you decide, hey, I'd like to do some less, but why not try to start strong? Because you may have some cancellations and you may have, some of these parties that don't go the way you want. Then you're going to have a backup and you're going to be hitting these goals, and hopefully through that, that makes a little more sense to them.
I'm not doing Weight Watchers, but
but I mean,
Yeah, all fruit 0.
you may have, and if they just are like, nope, I'm just not comfortable with that, then you have to respect them. You can't just say, well, tough luck here. You signed up. I'm going to push you. If they are throwing on the brakes and no matter what you're saying, they just don't want to do that, then okay. But think about with Marissa's person, if her husband would have said, well, wait, hold on, why are we going so fast? And she would have said, yeah, why do we need to go so fast? And Marissa was like, okay, if you're not comfortable with that, then don't worry, we don't need to do that. Think about how different that could have been if Marissa would have said, well, we're doing this because, hey, it's free for all and we're trying to get, this free money and this is all on the table. Why not go for it now when you have it? So that's the difference, and at that point she said, okay. And then she pushed and she went for it. And now she's super excited because she felt that success. Okay. But if you're still getting that resistance, there's not a lot you can do, but encourage them in where they want to be, and then you're going to get another recruit, Leslie, and then you're going to push them and then they're going to go for it. But yeah.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Okay, so Terry on my team signed up somebody the end of last week.
Yeah.
And she told me she was somebody that is not interested. She just wanted the kit, whatever. I sent her an email asking if I could, I wanted to talk to her, give her a call, yada, yada. Should I just jump in and call this girl, or what would you do? She hasn't responded to an email either.
If I have texted them, I have called them, I have messaged them on Facebook several times, then I kind of get the point, okay, there's not a lot, that I can do to get this person going. If you've tried every avenue to touch base with them and they are just not responding, other than driving up to their house, knocking on their door and dragging them out and speaking to them, there's not a lot you can do, unfortunately. And you're going to have those that are kidnappers. But you're also going to have those that you don't just say, oh, well, I think they just signed up for the products, I'm not going to really mess with them, because look, you, for example, you signed up, for the products, Christy Barnett signed up for the products, think if no one would have said, well, why don't you try, you got 90 days, why don't you just try this? So I think it's important to still, even if they say, well, I think I just want the kit, just say, well, even if you just want the kit, you still get all these consultant rewards. Why not try to see if you can get at least your payment back for the kit, and get some stuff for free while you're in your first 90 days. And then at the end of that point, if you decide, hey, this is not for me, then that's fine. So that's what I usually say to someone, even if they tell me they're in it full time, I still, I'm going to talk to them about it.
So I've only emailed her, so go ahead and try and call or text her.
Yeah. I say shoot her a text.
Okay.
But yeah, I would wait maybe a bit and then shoot her a text or something, maybe wait a bit, because that's what I typically do. I'll start with an email. They don't respond to the email. Then I'll shoot them a text, maybe a week later, maybe they'll try to call or something. And I still send them those weekly texts every week.
Oh, okay.
Even if, because you never know, maybe their spouse loses a job or maybe their outcome changes, where when they signed up originally, they didn't think they wanted it, but now for some reason, so I still send that weekly text to everyone on my team, no matter if they've done anything or not. So
I was just going to say that was how Kayla got me, was by emphasizing all of the new consultant rewards, like all the things that you get when you first sign up in your first 90 days. Like, this is what you need to go, because you can get this and this and this and this and this. And after that, when you're not a new consultant, you don't have all of those things to work for, which of course you have other things. But that's what she kept emphasizing to me, was all of the things that are offered for new consultants to get me going right away.
Right.
And I think, I think it's just, you got to emphasize all the things that they can get out there.
Absolutely. And look at you. You were a fast track.
Yeah.
So all these
Oh, wow.
obviously worked. Someone that wasn't even necessarily going to do anything, and then you fast tracked.
Yeah. Well, it's because I wanted all that stuff. I wanted all the kits.
Yep. Exactly. But see, that's the thing, is a lot of us start because we like the products.
Mm-hmm.
That may not be why we stay, but that's why we start, So
Yeah.
I think that's really a good point. Okay, so if we don't have any other questions, I want to get to our next topic. Okay, I'm going to mute you all for just a second again. Okay, so I was on an exec call yesterday. And Ellington Boyce, which a lot of you met at the retreat, she did a training yesterday. And holy cow, like, I was like, all right, let's do this. Okay. And I called and talked to her today about it. So some of you that have been on this team for a while and you have put people in a director bound, okay, you're going to feel me on this thought. So we know that sometimes we add these people to a director bound, and I have people in our current director bound that have been there like 6 times. So a lot, okay? They just keep jumping in these director bounds and they don't ever promote, okay? So what Ellington said that she's doing, okay, she started this on December 15th, okay, right before Christmas. She started this program. And as of the end of January, okay, so 6 weeks later, she promoted 3 fast track directors. Okay, 7 people started this program with her on December 15th. And by the end of January, 6 weeks later, she promoted 3 fast tracks. Okay, so 3 out of the 7. It's almost half. So, because you can't cut a 4th person, you can't cut someone in half. So what she is doing is she is calling it Rock Stars on the Rise. Okay. So now I'm currently doing a director bound. We're in our 5th week. Okay. Some of them, I will tell you, are going for it and participating. Some of them have not said a darn thing on the whole messenger group. Okay. So, with what she's doing, she is having a boot camp with these people for 2 weeks. She's doing a 2-week boot camp. So she's starting her next program on the 10th. And she's doing a call the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th. So she's doing 3 calls in a 2-week period. Okay? What she is doing is these 3 calls are all about bookings, because what she has found out, and I know that some of you would agree, that sometimes when we promote to director, we lose sight of how we got there. Okay, we got there because we booked parties, we pushed ourselves, we got these recruits, and then we arrive at directorship and we're like, whoop, all right, I did this. Awesome. Okay. And then we're like, okay, now what? Okay. So she spends these 3 calls in this 2-week period, and she gives them a goal. She says, in this 2-week period, I need you to book 8 to 10 parties. Okay. So they have to book 8 to 10 parties in this 2-week period. And these 3 calls are all about bookings. Okay. So call number 1 that she'll do on the 10th. She covers the requirements to promote to director. and make sure they have a clear understanding of what to do. So the 750 in sales, the 5,000 team sales, 5 team members, all 5 team members must be active in their least 150 in sales, all in the same month. Okay, so she goes over that. She goes over the benefits of promoting to director, less incentive trip points, $250 in PC dollars, $100 professional development, 3% pay increase, 3% on team sales, $10 activity bonus, and free director boxes. Okay, so she's going over all of this. Why do they want to promote to director? Okay, and have her really give a why. Okay, and she says, what is your promotion date? But she gives them the expectation that in 6 weeks, they will promote to director from that date. Okay, so she asks them, but also says, we're doing this program with the intention that in 6 weeks, you will be a director. Okay, so, and then she talks about bookings. Bookings being the lifeblood of our business, no matter what level you are, but this is even more important to remember as you move towards leadership. There's a general rule that the founder, Doris Christopher, said, 8 and 2, no matter what. That's 8 shows, 2 recruits every single month. That's the golden rule to live by. If you do, you will always have a strong business and be a strong leader. Okay, so the focus of this call is you want to remember the leaders don't work to minimums. So start this journey never settling at minimums. Okay, so they have the next 3 calls are going to be about booking and building a strong show calendar. She says things like, I need you to trust me, trust the activities assigned, trust this entire process, and you will promote to a leader by the promotion date. The ride is fast, exciting, maybe stressful, but so rewarding. So fasten your seatbelts and let's get ready for this ride. Okay. So they go over the calendar. They take a moment to identify the dates that you can work, remembering the 8 shows. Book maybe 10 so that you end up at the 8. Identify how many you have and how many you still need. Okay. And highlight the dates. Okay. Then she's going to do, which I did on my call yesterday. I know that Angela and Tony were on there. What I did with our director-bound people is the 25 contacts in a notebook, what that looks like. We went over all that yesterday. So she's doing that the very first call, and then sharing the training that Stephanie Richardson does, and then having them listen to a training over bookings. Okay. Having them order mini catalogs and sending out 25 contacts a day. Okay, so this first call is packed full of intense training on getting their calendar set. Okay, call number 2, she's doing on the 17th. Discuss call to actions from previous, so review the 25 contacts, tracking the 25 contacts per week. Did they listen to the bookings training? Did they order mini catalogs? Did they do all those expectations she set out in call number 1? Okay, so did they do those things? Get an update on bookings. Okay, where are their bookings at? How close are they to their goal? Share their updates, celebrate how many bookings they got, and make a really big deal out of that. Okay, booking from your parties and host coaching. Okay, so she's going into host coaching as well. And getting 3 bookings from every party. So what that looks like. Not only are they booking parties, but what does it look like to get three bookings from each party, and how important that is in their host coaching, and offering 3 booking bonus gift to your host if they get those bookings, using power tools to create a desire, like the Quick Cooker, the Rock Crock. I always talk about going live and creating that desire to have these products, and that keeps your host engaged. And then, so their call to action is keep tracking 25 contacts, contacting every host and let them know let them know you're going to be giving that bonus, and figuring out what power tools they're going to be using to promote at their parties to create the desire to book. Okay, so this is all call number 2. Okay, call number 3, which she's doing on the 24th of this month. Continue to discuss the actions from the previous month, the previous call, 25 contacts, contacting every host and letting them know about the 3 bookings, and sharing the power tools. Okay, so how did they do? How close are they to their goal? Celebrating the bookings that they got in this last week. And then she's going to do a training on prospecting and booking away from parties. Okay, how and when and where to prospect, the 10 mini catalog challenge, green dotting what that looks like, how to make an effective booking call or contact, a booking script that's provided on Consultants Corner, individual calls. Okay, so she does. So that's the end of the third call. Okay, so every single one of those is focused on bookings. Okay, so she did that in this 2-week period from the 10th to the 24th. She did these 3 calls. She's going to do these 3 calls with them. Okay, so then, and this is the part that we don't do. I will be honest with you. Those people that do not have 8 bookings on their calendar on the 24th, she says, goodbye. She says, I don't think you're ready at this time to continue on in this program. Let me know when you do have your calendar where you think it, that you do have those 8, and then we can look at pushing towards that directorship. Because this is such an intense program, because from now on, so she does those 3 calls, and then the rest of it is individual calls. And she doesn't want to take the time to do individual calls and push these people who are not going to take the time in 2 weeks to book 8 parties. Okay, so she gives them that 2-week period of time. She gives them every bit of training to book those parties. Okay, and then she gives them, to the 24th, so they know their goal from the very beginning. Okay, so on the individual calls, she's doing show-based coaching, and the change now switches from booking to now it's recruiting. Okay, so now the focus on these individual calls that she's doing with these people is now they're 4 weeks. So this is 4 weeks. They're having an individual call with her, and their focus is how to recruit in your parties, how to recruit your hosts, what do you love to spend, listing potential recruits in 4 different categories. Who do you love to spend time with? Who do you know that loves PC? Who do you know that loves to cook? Who do you know who could use some extra income? Recruiting training, in the coffee talk, verbiage, 5 contacts per day, recruiting wise, so she's going over these kind of things on these individual calls with people. Okay. So this is my thought on all this, and I'm just being very honest with all of you who are currently directors. We can keep doing director bounds, and we can keep having people not promote. Because what I have found in these director bounds, those that are serious and want it, they promote. And I feel like with an intensive director bound training like this is going to really encourage them to promote, because it's going to laser in on those that are ready now. They're ready to make it happen. They will get those 8 shows, booked, and they're ready, to go for it. So I want your thoughts on this first, and then I'm going to share with you kind of my thoughts on something else. So what are your thoughts on doing a director bound training that is a 6-week program that directly focuses on those that are ready to put forth this effort and get it done? I'll unmute you for a second. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely love it.
I like it. Me too. It holds them accountable.
I love it.
Awesome.
I agree.
Because this is what I have found in the group that's currently going on. And this is what I talked to Ellington about today. So I asked her, I said, okay, I have a group that's going on right now. I have these, 10 to 15 people in there. Some of them I feel like are taking it serious and doing what it takes, and some of them are not. So I was asking her, what do you think I should do? Because we're on week 5. What do you think I should do with this group of individuals, where they're at now, kind of switching the page a little bit and focusing on, okay, 6 weeks. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay. And after picking her brain, my thought of it is I will go ahead and kind of finish out the next 3 weeks, basically until March 1st is when we have this current one going. I'll kind of finish it out with them, doing the last of these weekly calls with them. But what I'm also going to start is I'm going to start pulling with your guys's, I want your guys' opinion on this, okay? And this is where I want you to personally message me people that you think, and I don't want more than 10, okay? I don't want more than 10 of these people, I think, because I think you get more than 10, then it's not intensive of a training enough, okay? Now, she started out with 8, and 7 of them did the 8 shows. So there was only one person out of the 8 that did not hold that requirement, that did not continue on in the 6 weeks. And then when she did those 4 next weeks, then she had 3 of those 7 fast track. Okay. So my thought is finish out with some of these people, and I want to get your opinion on some of the people that are in this group, this director bound group. And maybe you added some people, like maybe Marissa's like, heck, my girl, she's ready. Boom, let's do this. Because the 3 people that promoted this, they were fast track, because they're those new people that are ready. They're ready to go. They're ready to do this. They're excited, not to say that people that have been in the business, some of you didn't fast track, not to say that people can't still get there. But I also know that when they're excited, it's a whole lot easier to do it quickly like that, to do it in that 6-week period. Okay. So my thought is to pick your guys' brains on who you feel, and some of them may be in the director bound now. And I can say to them, hey, your director, we're going to take this director bound a little bit different. And you have been chosen, to go a different direction, because we see that you can actually make this happen in the next 6 weeks. Okay. And so and some of those may be in the director bound, and some of those may not be in the director bound, and so that's where the next topic is going to come up. Okay. Now I talked with Erin Brown today. You guys know I'm good friends with her. So Erin Brown, she let me know, and Ellington told me this as well. And this is where I need to get your guys' opinion on, because I do agree with what they are doing. So you have this intense program that's only going to be for a few people. And I'm going to be working very intensely with all these individuals with the intention that they're going to promote after the 6-week period. I'm going to be having an individual calls with these people, okay? But here's the thing. If I'm doing this intensive program with these guys, we also don't want to let some of our director bound people that maybe they're not quite there yet, but they will be there at some point, fall to the wayside. Okay. And so what they're doing is Ellington is doing what she calls the Rock Stars on the Rise. So she's doing this Rock Stars on the Rise program with these, certain individuals, and her directors are helping run a director bound. Okay. And Erin sent me all the material that the directors are doing. They're basically focusing on a lot of the director bound training that Pampered Chef gave us, but she gave all these examples. She gave all this training, and 2 of them a week are doing whatever the topic is that month. For that week. Okay. So 2 of them working together, do the training for the director bound people. And I asked Ellington today, and I said, Ellington, we both know the Rock Stars on the Rise is what works, because those people are the ones that are laser focused and they want it and they're going to promote. I said, so what is your thinking on doing the director bound along with it? And she said, the reason why I want to do a director bound separate from this Rock Stars on the Rise is because Rock Stars on the Rise is the cream of the crop. These are the ones that they're going for it. We want to laser in on them, and we want to focus on them. But she said also, we have these people on our team that are truly going to benefit from a director bound program, because you're still going to have them focus on this 8 and this 2, and it's going to make them stronger in their business, even if they don't hit director. Okay. So her thinking is, well, I want to continue this because I want these people to grow. Even if the end result is not directorship for them, they're still going to be your A consultants that are on your team. They're going to be the ones that, you know, are working and in their business. Okay. So her thinking is do this director bound that's not as intensive, but is still giving them the information each week, you know, to encourage them that they still may promote, but it may not be in as fast of a way as these rock stars on the rise people. Does that make sense? Okay, tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts on that.
I agree. I like it.
Okay, awesome.
I do too.
On this side. This side. This side.
I really like it. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Split that
Because
up
I
where
have candidates in there who could benefit from that so well.
to run directly
Are
down.
you doing it for all directors?
One message for you.
Like, or are we doing our own?
That's where I think we come united as a front and you guys run one. Because to me, this is my thinking. We're a team. We're working together. I mean, if you guys want to put into the work and you running one and doing it every single week by yourself, or I say,
No way.
let me give you the material, you guys, you know, team up and be in charge where you know that directors are running, they're getting the information, and then you're not having to feel tied down to something every single week. I mean, I'm going to be tied down to something every single week, but then you guys aren't necessarily tied down to the director bound program every single week, because the director bound program is every single week. You know, when you run a director bound program, you are, I mean, I've been meeting with these people, you know, and Tony, you've been on there too, you know, every Wednesday, you know, so my thoughts are, you know, and that's how the boys organization is running it. They paired up two on a topic or whatever, and they're running it, and but you're not having to necessarily do the calls every single week with the director. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Tony, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm confused.
Okay.
So were you saying, I don't know, I don't know if maybe I tuned out or what, but were you just saying like we are running it by ourselves or we're all doing it together?
My personal goal for you guys to do is to run it together. That way you're not having to run it by yourself.
Okay.
But that's my thinking. I mean, heck, if I would have had a group of individuals to run a director bound with, if I was, you know, trying to promote directors, I would have been all over it in a heartbeat, you know? And so my thinking is, why overdo something that you guys can all kind of work together on, you know, and pick, you know, different, you know, topics that you're comfortable with or whatever, and do that training. And then that way all of our people are getting trained, but you're not necessarily, you know, having to train every single week. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to touch base with them. And keep in mind too, guys, the people that would be in the director bound are not necessarily, I mean, the rock star on the rise kind of people. You know, these rock stars like Marissa's person, for example, you know, and Sheila's person that's ready to fast track. You know, these people that are ready, that's who I'm going to grab a hold of, and we're running. We're going. You know, the people that are going to be in this director bound are the people that want it, but they've kind of, you know, been, yeah, I want to do it, but maybe their calendar has not been where it needs to be at this point, you know. And not to say that these people can't still get there, but they're not going to do it in a 4-week period.
Okay, I think that's where I was confused. So we're doing both programs.
Yeah.
I think that's what I am wanting to get your opinion on, and that's what I talked to Ellington today about, you know, why are they doing both? And she said, you know, because she feels like there's still people that want director bound, but maybe they're not on that fast track right now. So she feels like they still need the training because they're interested, but maybe they're not going to do it in the 6-week period like these rock stars on the right.
I think that's really great. So you're going to go ahead and do like rock stars, and then the directors can go ahead and train and do tag team and do the director bound program.
Correct.
I think that's great.
Correct. Kayla, what are your thoughts?
And then,
Tony had her hand raised. I think she had a question, but I would be all for tagging up, like you mentioned, 2 directors on each topic and sharing it all and doing it together. Because, we've done it alone and we've done it with 1 or 2 people, and I think it would be amazing with all of us kind of teaming in together, and I think it would be great.
Awesome. And I think too, sometimes it's good for our people to see different directors besides us too. And I know that is for me, I think it would be great for some of my people that I see potential to be trained by you guys, because they hear me talking in their ear all the time, so to see, oh, wow, here's some other people that have done it, here's some people that, are having a success, and it's not just Melody, because and not to hold myself on a pedestal by any means, but I feel like sometimes people go, oh, but that's how Melody does it, but look at where she's at, and they don't necessarily see it as something obtainable, where with you guys, they may say, okay, well, there's some more people that are doing it. It's not just Melody doing it, this person's doing it and this person's doing it. And they may go, okay, wow, these people, did it at this pace or this pace, so I just think it's good for you guys, to be involved in some of these trainings without me, because I think it's good for them to hear from other people besides just me. Cooper. So, okay. And here's something else. So after, we know that we have some, directors, and maybe this even, includes you too, is once they hit directorship, sometimes they struggle, and so what she's doing after they promote is she is doing a maintaining directorship program for 90 days after they promote, where she's doing calls one-on-one with them every other week. And so she's going to help them re-promote themselves in that 90-day period. Okay, so that's kind of the goal is, now you promoted, now we need to go back to that, those 2 weeks intensive Let's Book Our Calendar training that we did at the beginning of this. We're going to go back to that now, and we're going to make sure our calendar continues to be, where we need to.
Yes, I love that.
Okay, so that's where so after I do this, program, then we're going to go back to those basics again. Okay, we're not done yet. Here we're going back. We're going back to this. Okay, so, all right. So,
text message tone.
Rohit,
Wow.
are you talking about mine?
I guess it pierced my ears.
It is so loud. It's one of my kids' friends, and I don't even know who they're texting, because I think my kids are in bed, so I don't even know, and it's so stinking loud. But it pops up on my computer. So I kind of want a big shot to the chick man. So they're doing Rock Stars on the Rise. I kind of want to come up with a different name. Like I want to do something. I mean, unless you guys just really like Rock Stars on the Rise, which I don't not like it, but I kind of, since that's what they're doing, I kind of would like to think of something else.
Yeah, let's brainstorm that.
So what are your thoughts?
Oh, right now?
Or we can do it later. You guys can sleep on it and put out your vote on our director page if you want. Anything else that you want to add, or anything that you think now, and guys, if your person ends up making the cut and they get their calendar booked, and and you want to be on those calls with me, I love that. Okay, so if you want to know what they're saying and what is going on, because these are your people, these are your rock stars, then I absolutely will, love, for you to be on that individual call that I have with them after the 2 weeks period. Okay, so we'll have the 2 weeks with the booking blitz where they're booking their calendars, and then we'll have that 4-week intensive program where the calls switch to individual. So if you want to be on those calls, which I would encourage you, because Ellington said that's something that Jean Jonas brought up yesterday. She was like, so Ellington, tell me, you're training your second and third, and first generation, people's people, are you having them involved at all in these calls? And that's where Ellington was like, well, I'm just going to be honest with you, Jean. At first, when I did programs with them last year, she said, the directors didn't really jump in and want to. So she was just like, we learned about Ellington's personality. She's that D type personality where she's just like, forget it. I'm just going to do it myself, But she said now she realizes it's important, for you guys, is because you still are their leaders, and so having you guys be a part of that process too. So she said this next round that she's starting, she's going to, Melissa, you are so distracting me right now. I cannot handle this cuteness in my face. So
I muted myself. He won't disturb.
He's just watching the computer. He's so cute. So I would love it, if when we get into those individual, because they're 4 weeks, so they'll be once a week. If you guys want to jump in and be a part of that call that I have with your individual person, I think that's great. So, anything else? Any other thoughts? So I am. Today's the 7th. So I will finish. When do you think we should start this? When should we start this fast-paced program?
Oh, I say as soon as possible. I know my girl wants to do it like now.
Yeah, that's
because they're already in there 30, 60 and 90 days. So, you got to get them going, right?
How about let's do this? Let me see how many of you say, yeah, my person's ready. And if I get enough that are like, okay, let's go, we're ready, I may start it like, I'm trying to figure out, because Ellington's and their stuff, she does her calls on Sundays with them. I've been doing calls on Wednesday with our team just because we do our opportunity events on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to figure out when is the best time to do calls, because Wednesday doesn't work out for everyone. I have found on the Director Bound program, some people just can't do Wednesdays, which has been, kind of an issue. So I don't know if that's where I just have you guys, or maybe I do it like at 7 to 8 before the opportunity event, maybe. Like I do those calls from 7 to 8 on Sundays. Because these people, well, they may have people in the opportunity event, but what are your thoughts on that for what you guys think will work? I mean, obviously I can't do that on our meeting night is the only thing. So, because we do our, our team meetings on Sundays. So, any opinions?
I have found in all the times I've done all my trainings and moved everything around that 7 o'clock on Sunday is a really good time.
That's what I kind of think too. And what I'll probably do is on the meeting day, I just may have to move it back. If our team meeting is 5 to 7, yes, people hang around, but I may just have to say, hey, I have a training at 8. I'm going to have to vamoose. Or maybe, it'll work out where it'll fall, where that's not necessarily one of the weeks where I'm doing one in the first 2 week of training. So I'll just kind of play that by ear, but I kind of agree. I've tried running on Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, Monday nights. I have tried, and that's where I'm like, I've tried everything in the books that I can think of, all different kinds of things. And to me, I've always thought at the end of my director program is, well, you know what? The people that promoted are probably the people that would have promoted anyways. That's just kind of my thinking. So that's where I think this is kind of a genius thing, because I feel like these people are ready. They're ready to go and they're ready to do this. And so why not run with them and teach them exactly how to do it in a short amount
Yeah, because, my girl Candace, she actually had a car accident the other night because she fell asleep driving. She's been up every night until 3 o'clock in the morning working PC.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this girl wants it so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. She did. She wrecked her car.
That's no bueno.
Mm-mm. I told her,
Okay,
there's nothing you can be doing at 3 o'clock in the morning. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to, this is your task list, okay? First of all, help me come up with a name. Help me come up with a name of our Director Brown program, something cutesy and fun. Help me come up with a name of this Rockstar Intense program. Okay?
Called it masterminds at once. I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
Mastermind.
Like your group of your intense people was your mastermind group. I don't know. I
That's
thought you called it that
awful.
one time. I liked it.
What'd you say, Melissa?
That's awful.
No one asked you.
Just kidding.
Oh. Okay, we'll throw them out. I will put out a post and I'll say, give me your ideas for Director Bound, and give me your ideas for our 6-week intensive program. You guys can shout them out, and then we'll see which one cuts the mark. Other thing I want you to do is I want you to think about who are you nominating for this intensive program. And based on how many, and think about it, because some of your people are in Director Bound. And if they're in that kind of slow, moving right along, and not saying that they're not going to get there at some point, but those are not the kind of people that I want in this group. I want in a 6-week period, you think they could promote with the right direction and instruction.
What if we need them to promote?
Girl, let me tell y'all about that. Totally with you on that one. I'm like, all right, Fab Five. They've been Fab Five for 10 months.
Yeah. My Fab Five needs to just go ahead and stick, and they just need to promote.
But that's why we still need the Director Bound, because we don't want to give up on them. But
Melody,
yes.
do I have somebody in there?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
And she's doing the work. She's actually participating. There are some that literally have not done anything. No calls, nothing. She actually has done stuff. So, yes.
Okay.
But so be thinking of those, and I want you to just personally message me with the names of people that you want in this intensive program. And I probably will start it. I think the 10th is going to be a little too soon.
When do you need the names? Because I have coaching calls next Wednesday, and I'm thinking that's when I'm going to get a feel of their intensity.
I want to start this, I think, on the 17th.
Okay, then that gives me time.
That'll give you, because I think 10th is too quick. It's just that's Sunday. So I don't think I want to start then. I think let's start at the 17th, and then I will run it probably 17th, 24th, and then the 3rd is our team meeting. So I may have to do it like Monday the 4th instead. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But I think let's start at the 17th. So if you know your person now, go ahead and give it to me. If you want to fill out, like Melissa said, she's still doing calls. And
Candace Sharp.
What did you say?
Candace Sharp.
Candace Sharp. Yep. Okay.
Do you have Melody, do you have a list somewhere of the ones that are in the program right now, the ones you were talking about? Where is that posted somewhere?
Let me get that for you. Right?
Just if I have anyone on my team that's in it, I'm not even sure.
Yep, let me get those names for you right this second. I'll just tell you.
Wow. Just bell them all out.
I will let you all know right here. Okay, so we have Tamara Storkman. Leslie Williams, she didn't make the cut though. Michelle Bonja. Angela's in there. Stephanie Kelver. Christy Johnson. Melissa Myers. Nancy Wright. Crystal Harris. Pamela Hodgen. Patty Nance. Melissa Nicole's in there. Michelle Richmond, she's in there. She actually promoted already. Nicole, who's one of mine. Kayla Morrison, who Kayla is, she's doing good.
This school is on fire.
Yeah, Kathy.
She's trying to earn Disney. She's working hard for that.
Working very hard. So Kayla.
Yeah, retreat for her was like eye-opening. So
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like that is her goal now.
Kathy Slawball. I totally butchered that.
No, you said it right.
I did?
Without the
Okay, wow.
drawl.
Slawball. Kelly Nottingham. Crystal Height. Emily, Misty's Emily. Erica Dennis. Terry. Kubido.
Kibido.
Cindy Green, and then Tony's in there too. So those are the people that are in it right now.
So I have Emily, not Nancy.
There's an Erica in there too, I thought. Did I say Erica? So I will tell you, Pamela Hodgen is pretty active. Terry is pretty active.
Erica's active behind the scenes. She's just very busy on Wednesdays and cannot be on.
Yeah. Erica, I mean, I thought they were working in there. Cindy is pretty active. Tamara has actually done everything I have asked her to. She wants it so badly. So badly. Tamara
Hey.
Boland.
Stephanie is doing the stuff also.
Stephanie has too. Yep.
Tamara
She's
Boland,
so she can't be on our calls and stuff a lot.
Right. I know. She's in a totally
Hours
different
are
country.
odd.
Yes. But I know that she wants it.
She does. Got 3 people right now that have said they want to join, but they're waiting. I think they're all waiting for tax money, so she may just suddenly go kaboom.
Yeah.
But
So those are the people though. So
Melody.
yes.
So Emily's in it, but Nancy's not.
Nancy is.
Oh, Nancy is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Here's my concern with Terry. My concern with Terry is when we talk and have our team meetings and everything. Now, the last team meeting we had, she said she wants to promote. Just shortly before that, she's like, well, I don't think I really want it. So she goes back and forth. So
Was
I don't
the retreat in between those 2 meetings though?
yes, but then there were some other conversations
Okay.
after the retreat that I just don't know that she's ready for this.
So I would put her in the director bound. I would.
Okay.
I think she still has potential. I think that she could still possibly see it, but maybe she's not someone that's going to want to do it that intense.
That's my feeling. Okay.
Yeah. But you're going to have your intense people and you're going to have your director bound people. So be thinking about that. And you said Crystal, what's Crystal's last name? What'd you say, Crystal's last? Yeah, what'd you say, Crystal's
Oh,
last name?
Candace. Candace.
Oh, sorry, Candace
Sharp.
Okay.
And Melody,
Yes.
my Deanie is on fire after retreat. She's already got her first recruit
Does
since
she?
she came back from retreat, and she's already communicated to me that she wants to be director by the end of June so that she can quit her mail carrier job. So I think she too.
Aww.
So why do you think she says June?
I think that something at retreat, that was just something she thought was a reasonable goal, but she's going for it. like. She's after it, and I think she'll do it in the 6 weeks if we give her the training she needs and help her do it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, if you guys will message me so I don't mess up names, and then let's say get me the names by next Wednesday, because then that will give me Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to reach out to these people and let them know they're being put in this program. So I need to give them enough time to wrap their minds around it. So.
Would you think it's something worth me talking to Terry about? Because I wouldn't want to exclude her if there have been changes that I'm just not.
Yeah,
100%.
I think absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's what Melissa's going to do. I think that you say, hey, Melody talked to me about this really intensive training that she's going to be doing, and I wanted to pick your mind, about it. And if it says, say, you're going to be required to do, to book 8 parties in a 2-week period, do you think you can make that happen?
Okay. She has a lot of want, but she gets her hand in so many fires sometimes that she can't just focus in on what she has to do.
In the director bound, it's always something with the baby, something with the baby, something
You
with.
got it. Yep.
And that's how she's been in director bound too. She wasn't on the call last night because there was something. The baby was fussy.
Okay.
So
maybe we just leave it where it's at.
Well, you can have the conversation with her, but I will say, I mean, to this point, she hasn't showed me an intense want.
Okay.
But I mean, and that's why I want to continue a director bound, because I don't want to just be like, all right, guys,
you haven't done it yet. You're done.
You're done. See you later.
You lost your chance.
Like, that's where I want, because I do feel like this group of people, I do feel like there are some people in there that absolutely could still do it. It's not that I don't, but I don't think that they are going to be able to do it in that intense, quick way. Some of them. Now, some of them are. Some of those on there are people that I think should be in that. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being on here. I know that is a lot, and I will on if you guys want, I have the Evernote for all of this director, that fast-paced program that I just told you. I have it all on an Evernote that I can send to you. And then I'm also going to write down new consultant training, just kind of write all that out for you. So you kind of have an idea of that as well. So I'll post both of those on our director page. So.
Are you going to post the shorter version that you talked about earlier?
That will be that call number 1 shorter version. That will be a part of the Evernote. So if you click on the Evernote, I will have that call, and that document will be within the Evernote. Sound good?
The question.
By the way, this was great.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for those of you that are continuing to post weekly, with your groups, the bookings, recruiting, host coaching, customer care, team inspiration, and team new consultants. So thank you guys for the trainings that you guys are posting, the encouragement that you're posting. I hope that people are doing the hashtags on your two pages. I hope you guys have been able to encourage them, in conversations, and really encourage them to continue posting. My hope is that you guys have already rewarded, some people that have done those hashtags, because rewarding is what will make it continue. I promise you that. So hopefully you guys have seen, an increase. I've been trying to wear my Peter Pan hat. I will tell you, next month, so you guys have a heads up, next month is Dumbo. And Melissa had a good idea, because I already have my Dumbo hat, guys. It's fantastic. Melissa had a really good idea, because Dumbo was supposed to be this month. And she said, why don't we switch Peter Pan and Dumbo, because the Dumbo movie is coming out next month. And Peter Pan, if you have anyone that wonders why we're doing a hashtag Peter Pan, It's because we want to add pixie dust to our business and learn to fly off to Never Never Land by selling power tools. The main lesson is don't be a lost boy or lost girl in your business. Study your catalog and PC University for product knowledge and selling tips. And when you have better product knowledge and selling skills, you can fly to Neverland or Disney in 2020. So because the new catalog is out, we want them to have knowledge about this new catalog. We want them to, to learn about these products this month. And so that's why we went with Peter Pan this month. Now, Dumbo is, what are you afraid of? What is keeping you from flying? Overcoming fear of making contacts, recruiting, going live, etc. Do it scared, and there is no magic feather to help you fly. It's about consistently working with intention. Consultants identify fears to overcome and commit to a do it scared. Okay. So that's what our next one is going to be.
I love it.
So let's do Dumbo ears.
I can't wait to see it.
Where are you getting your hats from?
I'm just at the same thing.
I just go to Amazon and type in, Peter Pan or Dumbo and find the one that looks like it fits adults and I like.
Yeah, because I want some.
So every live, that I'm doing, I don't know if you guys, I did on my my actual personal, the Harper's Hot Shots one. I do in my Peter Pan hat. So I'm going to do stuff to reinforce the hashtag. But thank you guys, because we are an amazing powerhouse when we work together as a director and a leadership team. And I've had executives contact me and say, okay, what are you doing to get your directors to help with these trainings and posting on your page? I had someone contact me today. I was like, well, first of all, they're awesome. And second of all, but I really appreciate you because we come across as a unified front. And people, when they know that we work together, then they know that they want to be a part of a director team. They see that we together can do great things and we work together as a team. And I think that's just amazing for them to see so many of you, on the Team PC Hot Shot page posting stuff. So thank you guys for doing that.
My phone died. Did I miss important stuff?
Yep, we talked about you a lot.
Oh, I figured. I did hear my name as it was dying.
Did you? Oh, yeah, you probably did. Oh, because I was talking about the Dumbo, why we switched.
Yeah. Oh, it was actually Marissa. I can't take credit.
Seriously?
I know.
Is Marissa still on here?
No.
So honest of you.
I know.
Okay, are you guys twins or are your genetics just that strong?
Our genetics are just really strong.
Because you guys look identical. I'm sitting here looking back and forth.
You did not just say that.